Hi guys, welcome back to my channel. My name is Sophia Lorette. If you don't know who I am, I'm a 22-year-old stay-at-home mom to 3 under 3. My oldest name is Cinco and he's 2. I have a 1-year-old named Dante and I have a 2-week-old little girl named Aria. And today I'm going to share with you my labor and delivery story. This is my 3rd time going into labor, but this is my first time successfully going natural without an epidural or being induced. So I went into labor on September 7th, 2021, and it was about like 6-ish when I started contracting, but I had been feeling crampy all day. So when my husband came home and after he showered and everything and I made everybody dinner and everything, I told my husband that I was going to go into the shower and just kind of relieve the crampiness, because at that point it kind of still felt like Braxton Hicks contractions. If you're familiar with pregnancy, Braxton Hicks contractions are sort of practice contractions, and you can kind of tell if it's a Braxton Hicks contraction or not because changing positions, drinking water, resting, showering, stuff like that can take those contractions away. But true labor contractions, they're just different. So yeah, I got into the shower, and after a while the shower just wasn't hot enough and it wasn't working, and I feel like the contractions were starting to build a bit and become more true labor contractions. So I told my husband that I think I was experiencing real contractions and that I was going to move from the shower into the bath and just kind of relax in the bath and see if I could get through the contractions or if they kept continuing to build. And I was for sure that it was true labor. But in this process I did text my mother-in-law and tell her that I was having contractions, that I was going to the bath. So she kind of already knew that she would be coming to pick up the boys because it was a possibility and she didn't want to end up picking them up in the middle of the night. So she said if I was having contractions and I was still having contractions by a certain time that she would come pick up the boys. So anyway, I continued to contract in the tub, and at this point it was like 7 something. So I've been like seriously contracting for like an hour or so, and I thought that maybe it would be a good time to start counting my contractions. So the rule of thumb that my OB goes by when you are going into labor is that you have a contraction every 5 minutes lasting for a minute for a total of an hour, which is considered the 5-1-1 rule. And at that point I was having a contraction like every 2 minutes for a little under a minute, and it had almost been an hour by the time I stopped counting, and it was like pretty consistent. So I was thinking that it was time to get out of the bath and start thinking about getting ready to go to the hospital because my contractions were building, and yeah, it just felt like it was time. So when I got out of the bath I realized that this may be TMI, but a whole bunch of mucus and nasty stuff was coming out of me, which usually means that your cervix is thinning. So I was like, yeah, I am definitely in active labor right now. At that point, I called my midwife and let her know that I was in active labor and what my contractions were doing, how far apart they were, how long they were lasting, and we told Junie's mom to head here so she could get the boys and we could leave for the hospital. So I'm not even gonna lie to you, I did not have my hospital bag packed or anything, and I was 38 weeks at this point. I delivered at 38 weeks. So yeah, I was 38 weeks. I did not have my hospital bag packed. I was not prepared for anything. So my husband and I are kind of like scrambling around trying to get a hospital bag packed and get out the door, and also get the kids ready to go to my mother-in-law's house, which we really don't have to get that much ready. But it just felt like a lot because I was contracting in the middle, and my contractions at this point were like very, very strong. But anyway, his mom came, picked up the kids, and we started heading to the hospital. The hospital from my house is about 15-20 minutes, give or take. So we were driving there. I was getting so mad at my husband because he was driving the speed limit and I wanted him to go way faster than the speed limit, because at that point my contractions were very, very strong. I was feeling a lot of pressure down there and I just felt like I had to push. So I was like, I feel like I should be in the hospital right now. But we got there in time, and we checked in and everything, and then they put us in the waiting room in triage. And the nurse that was working the desk that checked me in asked me how many pregnancies and what delivery this would be, and I told her 3, and she went in the back right away and told them hurry up. I did the stuff that you usually do when you get to triage, because I'm sure they thought that I wasn't in labor. But I peed in the cup, did whatever, and then they started asking me all of the questions. And right away, a midwife came in and checked me to see how much I had dilated, and I was 8 centimeters. So usually my plan for birth is epidural, and if you want to hear the story time on that, which would be my first labor and delivery, and why I choose the epidural and why I chose epidural with my second labor and delivery, because I was scared for my first traumatic experience. I will definitely tell you that story. But anyway, so I knew at 8 centimeters that my epidural was out of question, because my hospital stops giving epidurals at 7 centimeters. So right away they started moving me, because I was almost 9 centimeters, up to the delivery room, and I was there for probably about 10 minutes. They started my IV, nothing else really, but I just felt like I really had to push. I felt like I had to take a massive poop, or that I needed to push something out. So I told my nurse, I told her that I felt like I needed to push. And so she had the other nurse check me to see if I had dilated anymore, and I was 9 centimeters with just a little lip left on my cervix. So they called the midwife in, and there was a whole bunch of people in my room in a matter of seconds. And the midwife put her little blue suit on, and she said, I'm going to push the lip on your cervix up, and you're going to push. So I pushed once, and I heard my water break, which was a really weird sound, but I knew exactly what it was. And then I think I pushed 4 or 5 more times, and out came baby girl. She was born at 10:41 p.m. She weighed she weighed 7 pounds 4 ounces, and she was measuring, I think, 20 3/4 for height. I think that's all people really care about. But yeah, I did it all naturally without an epidural. I really wanted to have a delivery without an epidural, but like I said, I was too scared the first 2 times. And if you want a story time on that, I'll give it to you. This is the last time that I plan on getting pregnant, so the fact that I got to deliver without an epidural and I braved through it, not exactly by choice, but I guess it was destined to happen. I don't know. But I'm glad it did. And I'm glad that I was blessed with a beautiful little girl. And yeah, I guess it's time to introduce you. This is Miss Aria Adelina. She's sleeping right now. But yeah, she's 2 weeks old today, and I cannot believe it. So yeah, that concludes my labor and delivery story time. I'm very proud of myself that I did that. It's a lot of pain, it was a lot of hard work, but at the end of the day, I was blessed with a beautiful little girl, and it's an experience that I'll get to keep forever. And I must say, I expected it to be a lot more painful than it was. Not to say that it was not painful, because it hurt like crap, but it was a lot less painful than I thought it would be before experiencing it. So my advice to you is, if you do want your natural birth, you do want to complete one, have faith in yourself. You are a lot stronger than you think you are, and your body is made to do this. So you got it, sis. But anyway, that's the end of this video. Subscribe if you want to see more of me. I guess that's what you do on YouTube. I will leave the rest of my socials down below, my Instagram and my TikTok. That's all I really have. So yeah. Say bye, guys.